Hi, everyone, and welcome to MedEd Views, the MedEd News podcast series. My name is Joshua Slatko. I'm the host and contributing editor for MedEd News. Our guest today is Amanda Powers Hahn. Amanda has spent her entire 25-year career at the agency Greater Than One, rising from junior media executive to chief media and marketing officer and owner, and is due to take over as the agency's president when its founder, Elizabeth Apelles, steps down at the end of the year. She's been involved in many award-winning campaigns, including Tamiflu, Oxlumo, and Prolastin C, and many of the most successful pharmaceutical brand launches, including Cialis, Cymbalta, and most recently, Livdelzi. Thank you so much for joining us today, Amanda.
Thank you for having me.
You graduated college the same year that I did, 2000, and you got your very first job at an agency called Greater Than One.
That's right.
And here you find yourself 25 years later, still at the very same agency, about to take over as its leader in a few months, in an industry where it's very common for folks to switch between agencies or even switch between the client side and the agency side. How is it that you think your path turned out that way?
Ugh. It's just felt like such a journey. So even though one agency, the evolution that the agency has gone through over the last 25 years, and the way that we've been able to build the business, the different roles that I was able to support through the agency, and just being a part of something so special. And as you know, I'm an owner, and so it was never a job for me. It was something much more important than that. Loved the people that I worked with through the years so much, and just felt that, the agency became part of my DNA. And I absolutely love my profession and feel so privileged to be passionate about the work that we do. And now, as you know, we're part of the Real Chemistry family, which is going to be a whole new exciting chapter.
What has changed in the business, you think, more broadly than just the agency in the past 25 years? And what hasn't changed
Mhm.
about the work that you do?
Well, what has changed, and from my view, a very exciting evolution, is the rise of the small biotechs and the rare disease clients and conditions that we're now able to support. It used to be that it was a few very big blockbusters that everyone was paying attention to. And today, if you look at the FDA approvals from last year, I believe there was about 50 of them, and over 50% were in rare diseases, which is incredible. And now, if you look at 2025, it's over 40% of the approvals already this year are in rare diseases. And that is just such a purpose-driven place to spend our time and to support the clients that are innovating these incredible products. So that is a big difference versus years ago. The other big difference, which, interestingly enough, 25 years ago when we started the agency, we started as a digital media agency, is the rise of digital. So now it's over 50% of all the pharma ad spend is digital. Some sources say it's upwards of 70%. And that is a huge change in just in terms of the way that customers are interacting with brands and the opportunity that that offers to us, which is we now have the ability to leverage data in ways that we never did when everything was traditional and offline. So the digital adoption has enabled this new opportunity in the marketing space where we can create much more connected, much more relevant experiences between the customers and brands, which has really been a fun space to explore, and one that we've become expert in, which has been a lot of fun. And then the last one is internally. If you look at the way that clients are structured today, it is dramatically different in the commercial and the marketing space than it once was. You used to have brand teams. Now you have the digital centers of excellence and all of these expanding capabilities within our clients, where at the enterprise level, they're building AI solutions. They have a head of data science. They have a digital strategy group. And that also has just offered us new and exciting opportunities to connect with clients and, ultimately, meet their level of expertise and then help them lead the way. And then you said, what is the same?
What is the same?
What is the same? It is a space that is meaningful. So being able to help people that need support in terms of the conditions that they're suffering from. Being a marketer, I very much love and have always loved that we're connected to something that matters. I think the people part, there's some really amazing, innovative, brave, um, just absolutely determined people. So the people that we're able to interact with in this business have always been such a great inspiration for me. So those are the two things that come to mind. Um, and I think as we try to predict where we're headed in terms of the future, I very much hope that, the passion and the purpose that drives the industry will always be here, the incredible people will always be here, and that there's going to be very new and exciting ways that we can deliver even better marketing solutions because of the innovations in tech and data and all of these new exciting things that we're digging into.
What do you think are the sort of the big waves that brands and agencies are riding right now, the big trends that matter in today's marketplace for the work that you have to do and that brands have to do every day? What are those big waves to you?
The first one is data. So the way that we're able to now leverage data to develop connected customer experiences is amazing. So we're able to, as an example, in the programmatic space, see firsthand when we run HCP and patient marketing together, we can decrease the amount of time that it takes for a new patient to get on a product. So having that incredible visibility in terms of data and technology to be able to build smarter marketing solutions. And then with the rise of generative AI, I think also is a big one. Where in, 2024, we probably experimented with it. In 2025, we've adopted it. And next year, I think it will become immersive. And with the technology and the rise of AI, next year we also believe that we'll be able to monetize some of those great advancements in the industry. So if you take as an example the search space, the generative AI platforms, it's I think 50% was zero-click search last year. And now the search engines are working so hard to try to monetize, right? What does the world of generative search look like? And some of those solutions are starting to come forward. So I also believe that some of the big waves are going to be brand new opportunities for us as marketers based on some of these technology trends, new platforms, new places, new ways that we'll be able to connect customers and brands.
What do you worry about in the sphere of the marketplace? What concerns you at night?
I don't know that it's a worry, but it's something that is very top of mind is ensuring that everyone in our agency, all of our great talent, has everything that they could possibly need to succeed. So we're in the business of people, and we have so many great people, and making sure that all of those people have the right tools, the right support, the right mentors, the right inspiration, the right um, just ability to be their very best every day. So that's something that I think about a lot. I do sometimes worry about the data and where we might be headed and, what is um, the fine line between being able to meet an individual customer at exactly the right time versus what might be a little bit too much of a push. So as we move ahead in that space, the privacy and security piece is something that I think quite a lot about. I am a very optimistic and positive person. So I usually see things as, what is the opportunity and how might we versus something that causes a significant concern.
Let's go back to what you said about providing your agency team members with everything they need to succeed. I imagine, I mean, Greater Than One has grown a great deal over the last 25 years. And executing on that promise, I imagine, has grown much more complex as the agency grows. And also as the way people think about what a promise like that means has changed over the past 25 years. Can you just talk a little bit about sort of what does that promise mean in 2025 to make sure that a member of your team has the best possible opportunity to succeed? What does that look like on the ground?
I think the level of engagement is so important. So, how we're interacting with one another, people showing up their very best, being present, leading by example. When I come to a conversation, my video is always on, asking open-ended questions, helping the team be solutions oriented, being very curious about how we might be able to do something differently. I think it's establishing the environment that everyone feels that they can lean forward versus feeling like they have to be a little bit cautious. Of course, cautious for the right reasons. Um, but just having that fire in your belly and helping the team show up their very best and doing that by being a great example.
What do you think is coming next? You talked about some of the waves that are happening right now. What are the next few waves that we can look forward to in 2026 and 27 and 28?
Mhm. One of the big ones that our clients are really excited about is being able to focus not only on individual customers, so as an example, a healthcare professional, but looking at experiences across the healthcare continuum. So for 2025 and into 26, we're doing a lot of pilot programs with our clients in account-based marketing, where we're looking not only at the individual HCP, but we're looking at what does that full account in surround sound look like? How can we target all of those healthcare professionals and their staff at the account level? So expanding across the continuum of care, we believe is a big one. Another one is just it's going to take us back to the point that I raised before, which is all about data. What's been interesting is many of our clients are specialized in one area or one category of healthcare. And many times they have HCP customers that should not only be at the individual brand level, but that we need to think about across the entire franchise. So we're also helping our clients think about, how do we develop marketing strategies where we're looking at a number of different brands that share the same customer base and orchestrating experiences that allow us to support all of those individual customers, but at the franchise level versus the brand level.
What brings you joy at work every day? There must be particular individual experiences that have built this devotion that you obviously have to
Mm.
have stayed on so long. What is it that brings you joy in your career?
The personal connection to the work. And as I say that, it gives me goosebumps. So, my older daughter was born with a heart defect, and because of modern medicine, is corrected. She had open heart surgery on her third day of life. And that personal connection with the work and feeling firsthand and being able to see firsthand how much we're impacting people's lives in a better way is just my passion. It it's a privilege, I would say, to be able to help some of these communities and some of these families. And especially in the context of rare diseases, which brings us back to one of the first points that you and I have talked about. Some of these families have had so little hope. And now we're bringing forward products for the first time that are solving these orphan diseases, that are helping people in ways that they have never been helped before. And that is just an incredible honor.
What excites you? What are you looking forward to in the business, in the agency?
One thing that excites me is building businesses. I love working with clients where I can see the impact of the work we've done. I love helping connect clients with great ideas and solutions that I know are going to help their customers. I am very much driven by achievement. So, of course, while the journey is a critical part of getting to the end result, I love being able to see at the end of the day what we have achieved on behalf of a client and or what we've achieved on behalf of the agency. That's a really big deal for me. And I think more and more as I get further on in my career, I also love seeing people grow. There is nothing more rewarding than seeing someone rise to the occasion, do something exceptional, and then to think back a year or two where that person would never have gotten to that place without the support, the community, all of the great people that have been part of their journey. So I love the people part of it as well.
If you could pick up the phone and call your just out of college self
Mm.
from 25 years ago and give yourself some advice, what advice would you give?
I think find your passion. Um, even though as you teed up, my journey has been with greater than one. It took me a little while to kind of find that place. So sometimes you have to figure out what you don't really like to do much in order to find what you love to do. So find your passion. Um, Probably not 25 years ago, but I think the broader point would relate, which is always be curious. Life is a journey and we never stop learning, nor should we. And so I think in today's world, where that would apply big time is generative AI and learning the tech. Dig in, roll up your sleeves, experiment, find, some of the platforms that you love most and how they might help you do your work better, more efficiently. So I think, making sure that you're learning the tech, you're always curious. Uh, and then I think just, a little determination and grit. I mean, that has served me very well. I think back to the idea of um, being an optimist and believing that something is possible is not always easy. So having a little bit of grit and determination and believing that, it's okay that everything's not always going to go your way, but when you fall, fall on your nose and don't fall on your rear end, I think is the best way to put it.
How do you describe your job to, say, a child? How do you describe what you do? Because it's not the sort of thing that when someone is 8 or 10 or 12 years old that they think about as a career.
Hmm.
How do you describe it?
I would probably start by saying that we connect people with things that matter to them so that we can help them. And I would try to find an analogy in there somewhere that a kid could understand. On the spot, I don't know if I'm going to come up with a great one, but if I were talking to my daughter, I would probably say, I'm in the communications business, which means that we develop ways to connect people with products. And those products are things that they need. And then I would probably ask her if that made sense. And she might say yes, she might say no. And then I take it from there. But if we could find a way that it was about connecting a person with a product, that would probably be the simplest place to start.
Right. How old's your daughter, by the way?
10.
My daughter's 10 also.
Yeah.
And I have a tough time explaining what I do to her. And it's not as complicated as what you do.
No, I mean, when it comes to what I do every day, I'm a communicator. right? So it's all about being able to um, voice things in a way that it resonates with people, and then ultimately um, being an incredible listener. But when it comes to explaining it to a 10-year-old, they probably wouldn't get that. So I think the simpler way to probably say what we do is I connect people that, need specific things to the things they need.
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Like, this is the choose your own adventure part.
Let me think. As I was thinking about what excites me about the future, back to a lot of the trends that we've been talking about around, data and AI and, expanding across the care continuum. Uh, at the end of the day, the most rewarding work that we do is when we develop great marketing programs for our clients. And I believe that the future will allow us to do that better than we've ever done it before. And what that provides is the opportunity to be masters at our own trade. And when you're able to become that master and the best in the business, um, that's just an incredible inspiration for me. And I do think that where the industry is headed and some of the trends that are coming and that we have to leverage now more than ever, we will be able to create even better connections between brands and the customers that they're trying to build relationships with. And ultimately, we'll see that result better than ever before. And the more we can build our clients' businesses, the more valuable we are to them.
One thing that comes to mind based on your response, in sort of this developing world of data and AI, I know I've heard some concern in our industry about how that will impact the craft of developing communications, just the actual craft of drawing and writing and creating beautiful things that communicate well. How would you respond to that concern? How do you think the onset of greater dependence on data and AI and digital tools will continue to impact craft in ways positive or negative?
I believe that it is going to help us do what we do best, and that the tech is going to enable the work to be done better, faster. AI is co-captain. It's not something that's going to be able to do the work on its own. We are, though, from my view, just at the beginning of figuring out how this incredible tech is going to be built into all of the ways that we work today. I think there's products and innovation that's coming out of it, which is exciting. A lot of inventions because of the tech. Um, we don't know yet what all of the ways that it might impact us will be. But what I do know is by focusing on how we can work with the technology and build it into the work that we do so that the work becomes better, freeing us up to be able to do some things that otherwise were much more manual, is a big opportunity for us to figure out together. And it's not going away. So it's something that we have to embrace as an industry and figure out. And I think, the companies that are spending a lot of time and attention on how AI in tech can enable and better the work are ahead of the game. And we are absolutely one of those.
Perfect. Thank you. That's all for today's episode. Wanted to say thanks once again, Amanda, for joining us today, and best of luck in your promotion to president of Greater Than One.
Thank you so very much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. And, honestly, there's never been a better time to be in this industry. We talked about many of the trends and the reasons why that is. And it just overall gives us this amazing opportunity to be masters at our trade and ultimately shape the next chapter in healthcare communications and connect people with the products they need. Build businesses for brands, for our clients. And I feel so lucky to do what I love and to find meaning in it every day. So thanks very much.